What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out this video. A little bit of quick backstory on it. This was a part of a much larger project, and that project is now finally out. Very excited to be able to say that. Very happy to be able to share it for everybody to see. And that, of course, is none other than my in-depth look at the life and career of Megumi Fujii, one of the most important and arguably overshadowed fighters that there has ever been in the sport of MMA. It is becoming Mega Magoo, the Megumi Fujii story. It is out now. You can read the full 4-chapter story on mymnews.com. Please, 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 please go check it out. Give me some feedback, share it, even if you don't read it. It would mean the world to me. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this clip that helped contribute to the story of an icon. You've come to the realization, it sounds like, of, okay, obviously I can't do this forever, but I got one more run in me. Do you feel like that's kind of a better way to see and actually realize, okay, I know I'm not going to do this forever. I know I still got some left in the tank, though, rather than being like, all right, I'm just going, not even thinking about it. You know what I mean?
No, now I'm thinking about it. Now I had some time to kind of think about it, but now this last run, I think it's more for myself. It's before I was like, oh, I want to, there was a lot of pressure on me. I'm the best in the world. I have to continue that, now it's just like, the last couple of years, I haven't had fun with it. I haven't been loving it. In the beginning, it was a passion. I was like, okay, I'm so into this and I'm focused. And the last couple of years, it wasn't that. And now with this little time off, I was like, whether I win or lose, I want to do this for myself, and I want to be happy doing it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. You always want to be happy doing whatever you're doing, right?
But not, a lot of the times you lose that because you've done it for so long. It's just kind of like work. And so I want to change that around for this last run and just go for it. Just go for it, have fun and enjoy it. I've done all this work, and I've been very fortunate to have great trainers and people around me that that led me to here. So they still believe in me and they still root me on, and so I want to have fun with this.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think that works a lot better too than having those stresses of, like you said, being number one and the pressure of it all, which is something Megumi talked about to me, which I found very interesting when she was talking about, the fight with Frausto and how the pressure kind of really got to her of like, wow, if I win, I'll be solidified, like in her mind as, the number one. And it really got to her, which I found was very interesting, especially for someone like her. But I don't know. So I get that. It seems like.
Drake, it's like you write a good piece, right? You write this great story and you're like, oh, this is the best story. And then you feel like, I could have done something more.
Always.
I could have, so that's the same way it translates for us. It's like, okay, we are the best in the world, but we still feel like, oh, if we do this, we could be solidified as even better. And it's not the case. Like Megumi's done so much in her career. Like she went 25 fights without losing. Like, come on, who does that? Khabib.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, right. And she did it in that fashion, in the fashion that she won these fights. Maybe the talent back then wasn't the same that it is now, but she dominated. So I think she needs to be a little nicer herself, but that's how we are. I'm the same way. Listen, I'm there too. Like, but I'm learning how to be nicer to myself. And from what it looks like, we actually talk a little on Twitter, so we have to translate, right?
Yeah.
But, from what I see, she's so happy, and she's, she has her daughter, which she's super cute, and so I'm happy for her.
Yeah, she's doing very well too, and I'm so excited for this and everything. And yeah, people do go their separate ways, like you said. Like after the finals concluded, Megumi suffers her first career loss, you know, controversially. Don't know how you feel about it. A lot of people don't agree with that decision.
Controversial. I was, yeah, yeah.
You know, she goes back to Japan after that, gets the win, and then they set up you two to fight. So I want to know what it was like when you got that offer and everything. Like, oh, what I'm getting to finally meet her, because obviously you were probably thinking about it a little bit as the tournament, like, oh wow, we can make it the finals, we could fight in the finals. Is like makes the
That
dream
was the
even more of a dream, you know?
bigger. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. That was a plan. That was a plan. But hey, it turned out to be, you know, different and even better. So when I got that fight, I mean, that was the fight I wanted. That was what I worked my entire career for, and what I had, you know, not knowing I wanted to be like her and I wanted to beat her because she was the best, but just not knowing how soon it would happen.
mhm.
I mean, you know, my career just like it just flew by. I was having so much fun, but when I did get that fight, it was like it was surreal. It was kind of like you're standing in front of like, you know, everything. My whole career just came, you know, I just kind of like went back and remembered my fights, and now that I was standing in front of her. Um, but yeah, it was a really really cool experience. Um, and I trained my ass off. I mean, it was a great. You said you asking me regarding you were asking regards in regards to my training, or what was the question? I went back.
Oh, good.
You
Yeah,
took
no,
me back. You took me back, Drake. I'm like, you know,
the time machine there. Okay,
you're
yeah,
like taking me back to that
yeah,
fight.
yeah. Well, that's what I
Yeah,
want
that
to
was
do.
yeah, no, that was yeah, that was the best moment in my career. That moment right there. Um I was like so focused. I remember being wa- walking out. They were called, you know, they walked out, and I remember when I was waiting to walk out to the cage, and I looked at her, and I everything stopped for a moment, and I was like, I'm gonna become the best in the world today. And I went out there, and I, you know, it happened. I mean, and you know, that was the calmest moment in my like that was I was just so calm. I was in the zone. I was like dialed in. I remember everything. I couldn't hear anything. And when I was fighting her, I was like, "Yo, this is easier than I thought it was going to be." You know, I was like I hyped myself up, and you know, but it was all, and it was an honor to fight her, to be in there with her, because I had watched obviously her career and seen her fight and seen how, I mean, dominating she was. um I was having fun. I had a lot of fun. It was the best moment of my career. Yeah, that was the best moment of my career.
Crazy,
Drake, for
crazy. Well,
sure. Yeah, that was the best moment of my career, just to like kind of see what, you know, because I started my career, like I told you, she was my idol. I wanted to be like her, you know, and then I'm standing in front of her. I was kind of like, all right, you know,
this is happening.
hey, dreams do come true, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. It was a really cool moment for myself, and you know, for my team too. You know, my coach at the time, he had, you know, promised that he was going to ride this. He was going to go on this ride with me, and we just put our time in. We worked. There was a lot of people who helped me achieve that. So, you know, it wasn't only myself, it was my coaches, and that moment I felt like we were all winning.
Hmm.
You know, it was a good it was a good time. Yeah, for all of us. So yeah.
Yeah, that is
Thanks for
definitely
taking me
awesome.
back. Jay.
Oh yeah, you got it. I mean, yeah, you really got to be a big part of, you know, Fuji's career, especially during the end there, obviously. And that was a great moment for you as well. Um, so how does that time compare to the second time when you actually get to be the last opponent she's ever going to have. And I mean, that was made known before the fight, right? That, all right, this is Fuji's retirement fight. So
So
like,
listen to this. Yeah, listen to how I got this fight. So I don't use Facebook that much. I have it, but I don't use it very much.
yeah,
So I I don't even remember why I even checked my messages, but I checked my Facebook
just had a
messages.
feeling.
Yeah, I just had a feeling, and I checked my messages, and I had a message from a promoter in Japan offering me that fight. I was like, oh, this is not real. It's But then and I heard like her thing was you know she wanted they in Japan it's like it's a tradition where you ask for the toughest match to retire you. And it was the owner of what was it well the promotion that we fought. He said that she had asked for this fight. She asked for me to fight, and I said absolutely, it would be my honor. Like, what? Are you kidding me? A second time? Like, of course. She gave me the first time. Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's you know let's do it. And it's for retirement. Yes. So for that fight, yeah. So that's how, and that's how I got the fight. It was through Facebook, and then I, sent it to my management at the time, and they did the whole, plan the whole fight. But I got to take my mom there to that fight
Oh, that's
too.
cool.
I got to meet her parents. It was a good time. Other than the eye pokes, I would have.
Right, right.
Those were the only things that I would have taken out. But other than that, I mean, it was an honor. I felt like she was passing the torch on to me, and her. It was just an amazing ceremony. It was really really cool to go out there to her homeland and give her that match.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's such a crazy thing, especially considering how big of a deal she was for you and like just getting the chance to not fight her one time, but twice and then be her
Right,
last opponent.
right, and Japan. I love
Yeah,
Japan.
and in Japan, yeah.
I don't know if you know, but I was there. I was gonna fight her. One of her prodigies. I don't Aoki, but that was the day that the earthquake hit. I was there for the
Oh,
earthquake.
wow.
Yeah, that was. We were supposed to fight on that day, and she was gonna obviously be coaching Aoki. I forgot what show it was. Excuse my memory is
All good.
horrible. I've just been hit a few
A
times,
little
Jay.
bit.
But yeah, so Japan has been really dear to me. So when I got that offer and I was going back to Japan, I was like, of course, to retire Megumi in Japan. Yes, yes. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is
And
very cool.
yeah, so yeah, so when I was there for the earthquake, my next fight was they offered me to fight in Bellator. It was Carlos Esparza.
Hmm.
Was it Carlos Esparza? Yeah, I was fighting Carlos Esparza for my next fight after the earthquake, which was, you know, it was traumatizing for a little bit. I had to work through it.
Hmm.
And for for my last fight, the Bellator fight. I remember I donating, not they putting an auction for my outfit in that fight to donate to Japan, to the Red Cross for the earthquake. So Japan's always been a special place for me.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Very
So
nice.
then going back to retire Megumi for her last fight was epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Can't
epic. I
write it.
mean, come on. Story, like, the story keeps getting better.
Yeah,
You
seriously.
know, it could be like a movie,
Oh, for sure.
like Magoo. Yeah, a woman ninja movie
Yeah, perfect.
of badass women. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, speaking of that, it's just like when we look at Megumi and her legacy, right? It's one of those things where a lot of people don't. really understand or know about it, which is a bummer, and I'm trying to help with. So, I mean, when you look back at it and everything, how important do you think she was for, maybe not just the women in MMA, but MMA overall, yourself, just her legacy? How important was she for the sport, would you say?
She was huge. She was a big part of that. She was a big part of the MMA world, you know, um, because of who she was, of all her accomplishments. She was black belt judo, black belt Brazilian jiu-jitsu, wrestler, like ADCC champ. Like, she was just so many things. She had accomplished so much that not another female had her accomplishments. She was the only one that had those accomplishments. So she was a big part of that, her legacy, and she's still huge. That's what kind of like upsets me, that she doesn't, get the recognition that she should. Easy Hall of Fame, easy, easy Hall of Famer. I mean, and people don't realize what we had to go through in those times. You know, like you I'm not complaining. I'm grateful for all the opportunities and the way we had it, but they just don't understand. And the way she did it and what she did and how she carried herself, of course, she was a huge part of it for men and women. I mean, men still talk about her. Like, there's people that really know martial arts still talk about Megumi Fujii. And I mean, why not, Yeah, she's a huge part. She still is a huge part for me, at least. I
Mm-hmm.
still think that she's a huge part of the sport, and she deserves more recognition. And I believe, you know, I'll tell you this, and I haven't told anyone this in an interview, but my plan for either my last fight, I still have this plan and I haven't reached out to her yet, but I plan to go out and train with her in Japan and have her in my corner
That would
for,
be
for one of my last
really cool.
fights. Quick. Yeah.
At first, I thought
So,
you were going to say have her fight me for my retirement. I was like, she's
no,
done
well,
with
that would
that.
have been, I mean, that would be amazing, but I don't think so, because she's older and she
Yeah.
hasn't, I don't, so that's kind of like, nah, I don't want to put her in that, come on, Drake. I would
Hey.
love that too, but hey, you never know. I could say, hey, so
Yeah.
these are the two options that I have.
Yeah.
There's two options. You could be in my corner, or we can fight again
Yeah.
for my retirement fight.
Maybe a
But
grappling
I would do
match.
that. Oh, three? What's the third one?
Grappling match, maybe, so it's not as bad.
That, hey, yeah, I would do that. Totally. I
There
would
we go.
love to do that. Yeah. All right. We can do, no, well, she can be in my corner, and if she wants to fight me, we can fight.
Yeah.
And then maybe that would be something that she would be willing to do. I just haven't, but yeah, that was one of my plans, that I wanted to bring her out on a big stage and have her shine, like,
Yeah.
hey, she does, like, this is Megumi, like, I would,
Hmm.
kind of, yeah. So yeah, that's something that I still have in mind, that I think would be really, really cool. And just to kind of bring her back in that way. And I know that she has been in corners, like cornered Invicta and stuff, but I think that the story of her being in my corner and me, it would be really, really freaking
Yeah, that would be very cool. We got all these possibilities now. And, I'll tell you just from, this is between us until everything comes out,
yeah.
because, I've been talking to everybody. I talked to Sakakibara, Ryzen's founder and Pride owner when they were around. Um, and he said that he's still interested in getting her to do something in action for Ryzen. And I was like, wow, like, that's kind of a crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't.
Throw it out there, Drake.
Yeah, make it
It would
happen.
be, it would be epic.
Yeah,
It would
that
be epic. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Well,
definitely.
hey,
We'll see.
you got to put it out there. Let's throw it out there. You never know, right?
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, that's something that I want to do. But yeah, she's still, her legacy will continue always, and for MMA. And I think that she's doing the same thing with her daughter, which is amazing. She's, what her parents did to her, she's doing with her daughter, which is pretty cool. And her husband too is
Yes.
another killer. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's really cool.
Yeah. And you
You
know, what's that?
go for it.
Okay. Yeah,
But you,
it seemed like you might have been hinting at something, and just but sorry, we're going a little longer than I planned for here, but
yeah, of course.
um I didn't realize till getting to talk to her how big of a deal it was for her to really prove that women could do just exactly what men could do, if not better. Like that was something that she brought up consistently throughout our whole conversation. And I really didn't know that she was that passionate about it. I mean, I knew about her and her story and stuff, but I didn't know that was as big of a point for her as it was, because it was a big deal. So, I mean, is that kind of something that you felt, hinting back at, the early days and how opportunities weren't quite the same and you had to prove yourself maybe a little bit more? Shout out to guys like Jeff Osborne for giving you guys chances in hook and shoot early on when others wouldn't. So, yeah, was that something that was affected you?
yes, especially, yeah, Drake, it was the same as her, proving that we can. And especially in my culture too. um, Women we're cooks and we stay in the kitchen and we take care of the family. Mexican, you don't. This is like things that women don't do. So, like I said, I grew up with boys, and I always wanted to. I was a tomboy. I was always into sports, and I was always wanting to do what they wanted to do. What they were doing, and I grew up listening to "That's for boys. You can't do that. That's a guy thing. You can't do that." And I was like, no, I'm different. We can do whatever we put our minds to. And I never wanted to compete with a guy. And I've always said this to my teammates: there's no competition. Guys are genetic. They're stronger. That's just the way our body is, right? But we can do the same thing, and we can even do it better. So yeah, that was something that I did. I also um, wanted to train hard, and wanted to show that females can be strong and can do the same things as that. We can fight like guys. um, so, and I was lucky enough to join American Top Team and be surrounded by the best in the world. It was all guys. And at the beginning, yeah, they used to beat me. Like, I used to get beat up, and they'd be like, yo, I even had coaches say, like, yo, you should just go home and cook and make babies. It's like,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I've had coaches tell me that. Like, what? I would come in from work, I would train, say hi, pay my respects, and just leave. I was just coming into work. I was clocking in every day, coming into work. And they were like, all right, they saw that I was getting better, and I was dedicated, and they stood behind me. And then that's when they started to help me. But um, yeah, that was a big part and I still do it. And everything I do is still, we can do whatever we put our minds to, whether it's a sport or, and we're living proof. Like like my story is living proof of that. So, and I feel like as a woman, it's very powerful to, it's empowering. So whether I can inspire females and young girls to be fighters, or just learn self-defense to kind of empower themselves and learn the techniques and not be afraid of doing things that are supposed to be guys, that's pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
it's I've had people write, and people that meet me, and I'm sure Megumi's had the same. How her girl team, like, she's doing amazing things, and I plan on doing the same. So yeah, it's been a huge part of my career as well, just showing that we can do it,
Yeah.
and
Well,
representing and standing behind, the women. Not
And you,
competing against the guys, but just kind of representing art. Like this is our space. Like we have a space there too. And also when I saw Invicta, when I was in the creation of Invicta, I was actually part of that too with Shan and Nap, which was really cool. Just to have, just to form that organization and know that there's a cage only for women.
mhm.
That was pretty epic. I hope that one day they can become as big as Bellator or UFC, but we're still working.
Yeah.
There's hope. There's
Yeah,
hope.
exactly. They're still kicking, which is great to
Yeah,
see. Love Invicta.
exactly. Me too.
Great things there.